What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Coinbros, your guide through the greatest industry on this little tiny rock spinning through the universe. In the simulation, we're all here together, and glad you're here with us today. And there are three big stories. I'm going to keep this one very short because I've got two sick kids at home. One of my boys has COVID, I'm pretty sure, and he's just coughing his brains out. That's why I missed yesterday's. I was tending to the little dudes, you know? But today there are some stories we need to talk about. We're going to dive right into it. Like I said, we'll keep this one short. So, one of the major stories is BTC is mirroring the 2022 bottom, which sent Bitcoin up to like 126K. Now, these are all just stats, right? This isn't like guaranteed alpha, but it's saying here that it is literally gearing up, or it looks like it's gearing up to be getting ready for like a major run. I just dropped my computer, damn it. So anyway, I won't even read it. So it's basically saying all of the stats and the way that it's set up in 2022, which is kind of crazy how long ago that is. It doesn't seem like that long ago. That's about 4 years ago. It's when or 3 years ago. And it's when it was like gearing up to start taking off towards that all-time high, right, of Bitcoin. And all you can do with crypto is kind of look at past stats and what the cycles have done. And history doesn't, it rhymes, right? It doesn't always repeat itself exactly the same way, but it always rhymes, and that's kind of what you look for, right? So there is a very good chance that we are just kind of going sideways right now. I think we're sitting at 78, 79K, which is pretty good considering everything going on. And we are setting up, if the stats are correct, that we could be heading into a run. Now, whether that's in 2 months or 6 months, whatever, right? But it just shows that we are kind of heading in the right direction. And that's good news, right? Something to look forward to. I've been saying it, man. I think that we're going to crack 80K here any day now, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see all-time highs before the halving, which kind of changes the entire game, right, of the way that people think of how Bitcoin moves. But at some point, this industry continues to grow. We're gonna see things, do things that it's never done before. Story number 2. I just had it. I forget what the other story is, but I know that. Who cares? Who cares what the stories are? Basically, all that matters right now is crypto is looking okay. Meme coins are starting to heat up. The NFT space is starting to look really, really good. There's a few projects that are doing really well. Bored Apes, which are like one of the flagship NFTs, have gone up about 150% from the bottom. I think they're sitting around 11 ETH right now, which is around $25,000. Which, you know, the all-time high on Bored Apes at the peak of the craze was about over $200,000 a piece, right? So yeah, we're way down from that. But if you think about it, we're in a bear market. It's bottomed out. It's coming back up. If Ethereum were to go to, let's say, 10K, which a lot of people think it will this next run, even if Bored Apes were to stay right here at 11 ETH, you're looking at over $100,000 NFT, right? So right now is when you want to be getting into things. You want to keep your eyes open, and a lot of these projects and just sectors in the industry that were skipped this past cycle, they might come back really strong, right? So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that. And a lot of projects, there's a lot of data on them, like projects that have been around for 4 or 5 years. Like, for instance, Bored Ape, they just hit their 5-year anniversary. So, you know, most companies in the world take a lot longer than 5 years to get to where they, you know, where they peak out and where they're really taking over. So there are a lot of projects like that in crypto that people kind of overlook just because they might not have had the best run the past cycle. But that doesn't mean they're not going to go crazy this next cycle. And I think Bored Ape is one of those that is like a flagship in the industry. It's an iconic PFP, an iconic NFT, probably the most famous ever. And one of the big reasons why NFTs went so crazy. And right now you can get them at about 1/10 of what their all-time high was. So it's just something to consider, right? And I'm not saying go buy a Bored Ape, but like there are a lot of projects that, you know, have bottomed out and they're starting to do well again. And you want to keep your eyes out for that. I know there's some news with SpaceX going public, which is pretty big. But as far as crypto, the main thing is we're watching Bitcoin right now. We're seeing how it's going to react. And we've been kind of teetering in this 75K to 80K range all month. And it feels like it's coiled up, ready to go crazy. And now the data is showing that we're lining up just like 2022 when we had that crazy run. So fingers crossed. I'm gonna keep this one short. I gotta go take care of my kids. But much love, you guys. Be nice to each other, and I'll be back tomorrow with your update. Oh yeah, another story to talk about real quick was the Fed meeting. I didn't get to talk about, and we had Warsh is coming in, Powell's going out, but we were kind of duped. I guess Powell, who's the guy everybody wanted to get rid of, is now staying on the board, right? So that's actually bad news. So he's out of the driver's seat, but he's hanging out in a desk in the side office, right? So he's still gonna have some say in things, which is not good. But at the end of the day, the Fed has put someone in charge that's a lot more understanding with crypto, obviously likes crypto, and that's a good thing overall. So we will see what happens with that. Anyway, catch y'all tomorrow. Much love. Be nice to each other. Peace.